Hi, my name is Roger Jenkins and I'm your storyteller today. And the story that I have for you today comes from South America. And it takes place in the great tropical rainforest. And on this particular day there was a storm and a sudden flash of lightning struck down. And where that lightning struck, it sparked a fire. And soon flames began to rise, flames that rose higher and higher and higher. And there was a small grey parrot. And as soon as it smelt the smoke, it looked around and saw the flames that were beginning to rise even above the tops of the trees. And the little bird spread its wings and began to fly away to safety. And as it did so, it looked down and saw that down below, in amongst the flames, the other animals were trying to get away, to escape also. But unlike the bird, they did not have that chance of freedom. And at that moment the bird looked down and saw it was coming to the great river. So she spread wide her little wings and swooped down and dipped first one wing and then the other, and then her belly into the waters of the river and rose up. And then she flew back over the flames to the heart of the forest. And when she got there, where the flames were at their highest, she shook her wings from side to side, and a few cascading drops fell down onto the fire. Do you think they were enough to put out the fire? Of course not. The flames continued to rise up, to spread wider and further. And the little bird did not fly away, but turned back all the way to the river. And once again she dipped one wing and then the other, and her belly into the waters, and rose up and flew back over the forest, and again shimmered her wings and spilt the few precious drops that they had, and they fell and were gone. And the flames continued to eat their way through the forest, and the animals tried to escape as the little bird turned and went back. And even though the heat was unbearable and the smoke was burning her lungs, still she dipped her wing and her other wing and rose up and came back and flew through the flames, flew through the smoke, and did what she could. And back and forth she went, each time casting a few precious drops upon the earth. Her feathers were scorched, her feet were burnt, her lungs were aching, and her eyes were sore. But still she kept on, trying to do what she could to put out the flames, which were now so high. They were so high, and the cloud of smoke that was rising up was so large that even up in the heavens the gods looked down and saw the fire. They also saw the little bird helplessly winging its way backwards and forwards, to and fro from river to fire. And some of the gods laughed at such a fruitless waste of energy. They said, "Why? How can that little bird hope to put out the flames?" But there was one god who looked down, and he was moved to pity the bird. And he turned himself into an eagle. And he spread his wings and swooped down until he flew beside the little grey parrot. And he said, "Parrot, parrot, why do you do this? You are so small, too small. Fly far away and save yourself before you too perish in the flames." But the little bird looked at him and said, "I don't need advice. What I need is help. That's what we must do, is help." And when the eagle heard this, the eagle was moved to pity, and he began to cry. And from his eyes there fell tears, but not the tears that you or I might cry, no, for this was a God. And as he cried, his tears fell as rain. And those tears, they fell, they cascaded down, a torrential downpour, faster and faster, and wider it spread across the whole of the forest until all the flames had been put out. And the animals that had been running away stopped and saw how the rain had put out the fire. And as they paused and turned around and began to make their way slowly back towards their homes, to their amazement, before their astonished eyes, they saw the grass begin to grow again. On the trees, they saw the shoots and vines begin to emerge and crawl up. They saw flowers begin to break out and bloom. The rain had transformed everything. Everything that it had fallen upon, because it was from the God's own eyes, had been transformed. The little grey parrot, who had been so brave and risked everything for them, because the parrot too had flowed through the God's tears, something amazing had happened to him. His feathers had turned into all the glorious colours of the rainbow. And out of that terrible day of fire, there had come the most beautiful